bookworms. How are you? For those of you who are new here, I'm your very casual librarian. I've been working in the library industry for 12 years, and I'm a librarian in training as well as a student and a mum of two as well. So welcome to my channel and welcome back to my channel for you beautiful bookworms who are back here again. Today, I thought I'd talk about something that's particularly topical to me at the moment. And someone suggested it on a previous post, so thank you for the suggestions. I always love your suggestions for new vlogs. They give me really good inspiration. So if you have any suggestions for things you'd like to see, comment down below. Comment down below. I'd really appreciate your ideas. So today I thought I'd give you my 5 top tips for what to do when you're in a reading slump and how to get out of a reading slump. And we've all been there. And I have pretty good insight, having worked in the library industry for 12 years. I think I've got some good ideas. So stick around, make yourself, this is an iced coffee, but make yourself a coffee or a cup of tea and let's talk books. Okay, so my first tip for being in a reading slump. So you're in a bit of a reading slump if you suddenly just can't get motivated to read anything or don't feel like reading, or having trouble getting things started or paying attention. So my first tip is really simple. Just don't. That's okay. That's all right. It's okay to take a break from reading. Reading should be enjoyable and it shouldn't be a chore. So if you need a break, just take a break. That's okay. At the moment, I've been reading less. If you've seen my previous vlogs, we've had some family emergency situations, and I haven't been well. So in that time, I was finding it really hard. I didn't have enough energy to concentrate. I just couldn't stick to anything. Nothing stuck that I wanted to read. And that's okay. That's fine. Sometimes life just happens and it's just not the time. You might have exams, or you might be busy at work, or have young children, or it just isn't happening. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Please be kind to yourself, and let yourself have a break. So I found in the last few weeks when I wasn't feeling well, and I couldn't concentrate on a book, I was really enjoying doing a paint by number at my desk, because I didn't have to think. It was just, here's a spot with a 2 in it, put the number 2 paint in it. And it was really mindful, and it didn't require me to concentrate too hard. And that's what was bringing me joy at that point. And that's okay. And my husband always tells people too, when my first daughter was born, I really thought that spending so much time at home would give me time to read, and I read nothing in the first couple of months that my daughter was at home, that we brought her home, because I was anxious, I was sleep deprived, I was distracted, and I could not concentrate even if I wanted to. So my husband always laughs, because he would get up in the middle of the night to see if I was okay feeding the baby, and I would be watching Top Gear. That was my entertainment of choice. That kept my sanity. We got given a box set of the Top Gear series, and I watched them back to back. And I don't know anything about cars. I don't like cars. I'm not into cars at all. But for some reason, I just really enjoyed watching Top Gear. I can't explain it, but that's what I watched the whole time, the first few months that I was up all night breastfeeding my baby. Top Gear. So there you go. So, the point is, reading should be enjoyable. And if you're not enjoying it, just have a break. that's okay. That's totally fine. So, my second top tip for having a reading slump and trying to get yourself out of it is audiobooks. If you haven't tried them, it's a really different experience, and it's still a literature experience. You don't have to read a physical book and be a sighted person reading a physical book to have a literature experience. Um, that's very ableist, and if you read Braille, if you listen to a book, if a book is being read to you, that's still a literature experience. That's still reading. So, fight me on it. Fight me on this in the comments. Change my mind. You won't. So if you have access to a device that you can get audiobooks on, and there's so many different platforms, you can use Audible and pay for a subscription, but you don't have to. Many libraries, including ours, have lots of free resources for audiobooks. You can use BorrowBox, which is Belinda Audiobooks' app. You can log on to that using your library card with most library services. Your library might even also have its own app and platform for listening to audiobooks, and they're free, absolutely free. So you borrow them just like any other resource from your library, just like a book. You borrow it on your library card, you read it, you have your 3 weeks, you can renew it if you want, and you return it when you're finished. And look, audiobooks are great. Particularly, I can think when I was at university the first time, I used to do a lot of driving, and I could never get into the Terry Pratchett Discworld series, and I really wanted to read it because I knew it was good and I knew it was good writing, and for some reason I just couldn't concentrate on it. But listening to the Discworld books to and from uni in my car, mate, a totally different experience, because it's performed, and voice actors are amazing. So a lot of the Discworld series are read by Nigel Planer, they're read by Tony Robinson, and they do all the voices. They read it to you and they do all the voices, and it's performed, and it's brilliant. So it can really change the whole experience of a book for you. I could never get into a Terry Pratchett just book for some reason. Pyramids, the performance of Pyramids by Nigel Planer is absolutely brilliant, and I would be laughing out loud, and it made the trip to uni so fast. So if you can grab yourself a device of some sort, and then you can listen to your book and do something else. So you can be folding washing and reading. You can be walking your dog and reading. You can be on the train on your commute to work and reading, You can be watching your kids play at the playground and supervising them and still reading. So I really recommend Audible and BorrowBox and Libby, and I recommend going and checking out your local library and seeing what platform they use to loan their audiobooks, because I guarantee you there's a resource you haven't even tapped there, and it's absolutely free. So, okay, my third tip for getting out of a reading slump is to change up your genre. I know people tend to read much of the same genre. My colleague Tracy, she's an avid thriller mystery reader, and doesn't often branch out of that genre. That's her preferred genre, which is totally fine. But sometimes when you're in a reading slump, that can really help you get interested again, just to change up the genre that you're reading, and also the format that you're reading in too. I personally find that when I'm in a reading slump, I find graphic novels and manga feel easier to read, and there's pictures and the page isn't so dense with print. So I might be in a reading slump, but if I pick up some manga, I can flip through that, no problem. Also magazines. Magazines are still literature, totally. So if you have a magazine that you like to read, that can help, and they feel shorter, so they feel more manageable, and often the typeset arrangement of the page feels a bit less daunting because it's not just one solid page of print, it's small chunks of print that are much easier and much less intimidating to read. Also, junior fiction. Don't give junior fiction, don't pass over junior fiction, because there is so many good books out there in the junior section that might get you back into reading. I highly recommend Runt by Craig Silvey. It was the Children's Book Council Book of the Year this year, and so well deserved. It was really good. Even Matilda by Roald Dahl, like such a beautiful book. Or, grab Anne of Green Gables, grab The Little House on the Prairie series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. There's some beautiful junior books out there. There's some beautiful picture books out there, and books are for everybody. You can read picture books and appreciate the art and the stories that have gone into. They're beautiful pieces of art and literature. Like, if that's what it takes to get you back reading, you should never be ashamed of what genre that you like and what you like to read. If you love a good Mills and Boon romance, go and grab one of those. Just whatever brings you joy. You should definitely read that. You should definitely read that. And your librarian will never judge you. Your librarian will never judge your reading choice. So I'm happy to walk anyone through any part of my library. And I get excited about all the genres of books in our library. So, again, I've said it before and I'm a bit biased, but go into your local library and explore what they have, because there's so much more than just books. Go and find the graphic novel section and see what your library has. Go and look at the picture books. Go and look at the beautiful art in the picture books. Go to the nonfiction section, find a biography. Maybe there's a biography out there that you hadn't even thought about reading. Your library will have magazines. They have information books. They have large print. Maybe you just need some larger print. Maybe looking at small print is just doing your head in and it's too intimidating. And you might pick up a large print book and you fly through that thing because the print's so large, the pages just keep turning. So definitely go in and see what's available. So maybe if you're fixated on just reading fiction books, maybe that's just not for you right now. So definitely go in and have a look around what other resources are available to you to read, because there's so much content available, and it's all free, like I said before. But yeah, go and have a look. You never know what you'll find. Okay, my fourth tip for getting yourself out of a reading slump is to go back to your comfort reads. You know what they are. Like those books that you could read 100 times and you'd still love it. There might be books you read as a child. They might be books that you read at a time of your life and it really spoke to you. It might be a book that you know the author of. And sometimes you just need to go back to what you know, and what you know you'll enjoy, and just purely have a comfort read. For me, it's the great Queen of England, Jilly Cooper. She's my go-to. I just adore her books. And, I wouldn't say I was a big romance genre reader, but I'm not sure that's what she writes. And I'm not sure she'd say that's what she writes, because even though there's always kind of romance and, a bit of sex and relationships in there, there's so much more. There's so much character and world building, and they're so funny. She is such a funny author. And I love that she doesn't take herself too seriously. Like she says, my books aren't going to change the world. Like, my books aren't meant to rock your world. They're just fun. They're just supposed to be fun, and you're just supposed to enjoy yourself. And that's exactly what a comfort read is for me. It's nothing I have to think too hard about. I just enjoy the ride. I just enjoy the story. So for me, Jilly Cooper, always. Writers, Polo, they'll always be my go-tos. Anne of Green Gables. Anne of Green Gables will always be a go-to. I don't care how many times I read it. I will always enjoy it. So if you have a comfort read like that you've read again and again, even a junior fiction series, You know, if your comfort read is to sit and read the Babysitters Club books that you collected when you were 13, that's fine. You know, as long as you're getting some enjoyment and some comfort from your reading, that's the main thing at a time like this, you know, especially when you're going through a hard time. Whatever's going to nourish you and make you feel safe and comfortable, that's a good thing. That's an important thing. So definitely, number 4, grab your comfort read and make yourself a hot cup of tea, curl up and just be comforted by your comfort reads. Okay, tip number 5, the last tip for getting yourself out of a reading slump, and I really like this one, I do this one a lot, is to take yourself on a reading date and get out of your space. So what I mean by that is sometimes if you change the location, you refresh everything and it feels like a holiday. So if you normally read at home or read in a particular chair at home or read on your couch, you know, sometimes just getting out of that rut is enough to get you reading again. I like personally, when I'm in a reading slump, to take myself on a reading date. So I'll drop the kids at school and I'll grab a book and I'll grab a thermos of like hot chocolate. And I'll go to a park with a picnic blanket and my dog, and I'll just sit and read outside for a bit with a thermos and make some tea. Or another good one is to just go to a cafe. You know, if there's a nice little cafe around, just take yourself on a book date. Take your book, order a coffee, order a piece of cake, and just spend an hour with yourself reading. It's a really nice way to do something nice for yourself and to have some time alone, to get yourself out of your own headspace, off screens, you know, away from the distractions of home where you could be reading, but you're like, oh, look at that pile of washing I haven't folded, or that's me. or, you know, the kids are interrupting you, or, you know, you're thinking about the work you should have done last week, and you know, those distractions. If you're out and about and you're in a park, or you know, at the beach, sitting on a beach towel under an umbrella, or even, I know this sounds stupid, but I actually did this in COVID when we were in lockdown. I would just go in my car to the local supermarket, because that's as far as we were allowed to go. We only had a 5-kilometer radius we were allowed to go, and we were only allowed to be out for an hour. So I would go and I'd grab the shopping and I'd take my book and I'd grab a packet of chips and I would just read for 20 minutes in my car alone. And like, that was really nourishing time because it was completely silent. I was in my own safe little capsule bubble. I was socially distanced because I was on my own. I wasn't breaking any laws because I was only out for my hour shopping. And I'd just read for 20 minutes and then I'd go home. And sometimes that was enough to just completely reset my brain for the rest of the day for being indoors homeschooling my kids and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe just getting out of your familiar 4 walls is a good way to break the reading slump, and just a good way to break a life slump. You know, get out and go somewhere that you haven't been before and just enjoy a date by yourself with a book. I highly recommend that. That's a really fun thing to do, and I do that often. So thank you for joining me today again. And for those of you who are new here, welcome, and I hope you're enjoying my vlogs. Thanks for being at my channel. And I hope you found those 5 tips for getting out of a reading slump helpful. I'm always open to other tips as well. So if you have some other tips that you'd like to share with your fellow bookworms, comment down below ways that you've gotten out of a reading slump, or ways that you have dealt with not being able to read. I mean, the world can be a really distracting place, and sometimes life just doesn't allow you to focus on something as mindful as reading, and that's totally normal. Like, especially, you know, there's a lot of conflict going on, a lot of distressing things happening in the world, and you know, just distressing things happen in families, and there's stressful times and people get ill, and things just don't work out how you plan. So that's totally life. So please don't beat yourself up if your concentration isn't 100% at the moment and you can't commit to reading. It doesn't mean you're not a reader. It doesn't mean you're not a book lover. Everyone needs a break every now and again just to do something else, and that is totally fine. Please forgive yourself if that's you at the moment. Please give yourself some grace. It just means you're doing something else at the moment. Books will always be there for you. That's one of the things I love about books. Books will always be there for you. So, you know, the books on your shelf are just waiting for you to pick them up again. You know, libraries are always full of books and they're waiting for you. Bookstores, they're always waiting for you to come in. You know, books are forever. They'll be there for you when you come back from your reading slump. It's totally fine to take a break. So, with that in mind, I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you get some reading in if you can, or you just get some beautiful, nourishing time by yourself as well. That'd be really good. Let me know which of those 5 tips you have tried as well and that you like, or if you have some other suggestions, comment down below. I'd love to hear them. Have a great day, bookworms, and thanks for being here, and love you so much, and I'll see you in the next vlog.